Now, hey everybody, how you getting on? Yoga Roy here. So we're going to have a look at the restorative session, beginner's course, week 3. So what we're going to focus on today is we're going to look at opening up the energetic channels. To do that, we're going to get the joints open. So if I do a brief recap on where we've come from, and then explain why we're going to do joints today, but I'm going to talk you through it while we do it. So let's get started. So if you separate your feet about 4 to 6 inches apart, and just put a small little slight bend on your knee, just a small bend on the knee, so that you feel your weight come down into your feet. And then what I want you to do is begin to gently sway, and the minimum sway that you need to allow yourself to feel the 4 corners of your feet. So you want to feel your big toe, your little toe, the inside of your heel, the outside of your heel. So again, just keep that going. Little soft knee, just enough to feel your weight come onto your feet. And then you're swaying around the 4 corners of your feet. Now keep that going, and I'll just talk you through where we've come from and how we're getting to where we are today. So first session is we're doing this sway, and what it does is that it centers us. And then it brings us into our center of gravity. And what I mean by that is that notice now as you sway around the 4 corners of your feet is that you can feel the gentle tone as your feet like massage themselves into the floor. You feel the pressure and then you feel the release. So the weight of your body is rolling around the 4 corners of your feet. Now at the same time, it's massaging out the calf muscles, the hamstrings, the inner thighs, the glutes, I'm missing the muscle there, hamstrings, inner thighs, hamstrings, thighs, inner thighs, and the glutes. Okay, one blank there for a moment. So you're swaying around that beautiful tone in your muscle, and then you're swaying around the release. You can feel the pressure, and then you feel the release. So as I sway onto one side, I feel the tone increase. And I come off that side, I feel the tone release. And that brings in a spontaneous tone. And that spontaneous tone is you beginning to flow around your center of gravity. And we did that all the way through the body. And we do it all the way through the body today. And that brings in micro movements. So look at the way we're moving. It's all a series of very small, subtle movements. So as you come into your center of gravity, you're just flowing around it in micro movements and just enjoying the connection through the soles of your feet, enjoying the connection into your body, feeling the muscles, feeling the joints, and just coming into your body itself. So now from there is last week, the second session, we began to layer the breath in more specifically. So notice the pace that you're swaying at. There's a natural pace that when you move at that pace, your muscles naturally tone and release. There's a spontaneous engagement in them. Now I got you to begin to breathe into that. So notice as you're swaying, I want you to begin to breathe at that same pace. So you're inhaling a little bit to your navel, to your intercostal muscles, the sides of the rib cage, and your upper chest. So feel those 3 areas expanding a little bit and contracting a little bit. Don't worry about the depth of your breath. Sometimes it'll be deeper, sometimes shallow, everything in between. So the depth of your breath is not important, but using the full lung, the lower lungs in the navel, middle lungs in the rib cage, upper lungs in the upper chest, feeling all those 3 areas of your lungs moving in each breath is what you're looking for, is that you're working the full lung. And then you're moving your breath at the same pace that you're swaying in your center of gravity. So you're beginning to sync up your breath with your physical center of gravity, with your body. And then you're breathing your inner center. It draws you deeper into your body, and you start to feel yourself flowing from the inside out. It just draws you in. And we went a little bit further last week, is notice the tone that your muscles are engaging with. Now slow your breathing down a little bit more until you can begin to feel the tone of the lungs, that you can feel, because they're big muscles. Is when you slow your breath down, it gives you that greater sense of expansion and contraction. It gives you the tone of your lung. And as you feel the tone in your breath, the tone in your lungs, have that match the tone in the rest of your body. So whatever effort you feel in the sway is you're breathing that same quality of effort. And that kicks you into the energetic body more. You feel the energy begin to release through your joints and through your muscles. And you get that lovely, after a while, you get a lovely floaty feeling. We were really getting into the floaty feeling last week because you're moving into the energetic body. So there's the physical center of gravity, there is the energetic center of gravity, and we're moving in micro movements. And we're just getting into that lovely flow, getting into that lovely flow of natural engagement in the body. And we're literally moving from our center. So there's already a natural equilibrium within us. And then we're exploring how to open that out into the body more. So the more the body moves, is all of the body's moving at the same pace. All of the body is breathing at the same pace. And the tones are meeting each other. So I talked about the joints before, but more specifically today, we're going to systematically go through all the joints. And as we do, a nice way to describe it, if you think of a canal, and along the canal you got these different locks, these different areas that block the water, and you want to get past, you got to open the lock to get the canal barge moving down the canal. Think about each one of your joints like a lock. And that the more you release the lock, the more you release the joint, is the energy flows more freely. And then think about all the joints in your body, and the more you open your joints, the more the energy flows more freely. And that as you get more and more into it, is you get a beautiful sense of spaciousness. And again, you come more and more into the lightness of your body. There's the lightness of the root and the rise, the rooting down, connecting, but then there's the lift coming up through. So rest down through the bones, up through the muscles. You'll hear me talk about it in all the classes. Is we're extending and opening that space. So getting into this beautiful tone is it gives you that lovely rising tone through your body. But equally as the energy is rising through your body, and we're raising it up, moving it through all the joints. So at a certain point, you get into a beautiful sense of spaciousness, and you really move into a lightness. So by the end of today's session, you find yourself in your light body. It's a beautiful effortlessness within it. Okay, so let's get stuck in. So we're still swaying around the four corners of the feet. Now, I'll suggest today is sometimes it might not always be comfortable. It's not going to hurt, but it might not always be comfortable, and especially on the neck and shoulders when we start working on. If you've got tightness or tension around the particular part of your body, when we begin to open up all the joints, while you're opening up the joints, you're also working the muscles. So while we're working the muscles to give them a massage, the more we work the muscles and get into them, is you might start to notice that you start to feel the tiredness, because any muscles that are tense, really what's in there is there's a tiredness. So when you start to open up that muscle a little bit, it's like the tiredness needs to release. So you got to feel the tiredness a little bit before you let it release. So if you feel that you're working certain areas and it's getting tired or even a bit tender, is don't go as deep in. And again, we're back in those micro movements, is move it away where you can allow yourself to keep massaging yourself into your body. It's all about the opening and the release. Sometimes there might be a bit of tightness or tension or tiredness that you're releasing, but you've got to let yourself stay soft and engage with it. So there's no, careful if you feel it, that you don't try and get away from it, but don't attack it either. Is keep the space open and just let ourselves just keep in that massage effect, whatever part of the body we're in. So even though I'm going to give you all these directions today, only follow them at a level that you can keep that lovely massage effect. And it's a simple rule. If it feels good, keep doing it. And when you've got that beautiful release in your body, anywhere in your body, it can be gorgeous. But then also is if you're working in an area of your body that's a little tight or sore or aching or painful, is if you're massaging, you're opening the space, letting the energy flow in, is you may feel a bit of that tiredness, a bit of that ache, but it actually feels nice because you're releasing it. So if you stay engaged in those subtle micro movements, even the ache and the releasing of the ache can actually feel really, really nice. But stay with it. That's what I'm really trying to say. Stay with it, stay with your body, and stay in the softness of your experience. And the softness is the power. If you think of it this way, is you have something that can smash through things or cut through things, and then you've got something that can permeate through things. Is while something that can smash and attack and cut through things can be strong, it also causes a lot of harm, causes a lot of damage. Is if you think of something that permeates or absorbs in, is that has the same ability to absorb and have power. It can absorb into things, but it doesn't cause any harm while it does it. So the ability to be soft is actually very powerful. So if you think about somebody who's going to find real strength in their muscles, it's their ability to soften into the tone of the muscle is what empowers the muscle. So you're building strength by softening into your muscles. You're building strength by softening into your joints because it helps you return that joint back to its mobility. So pushing or forcing or yanking, all that stuff doesn't really work so well for the body. But being soft and then staying engaged, and then you've got that lovely tone and release. So as you sway around the tone and release in your body, you'll find the softness is in the release. So notice as you sway, let's get into it now. As you're swaying around the four corners of your feet, you got that lovely tone in your legs. And then feel the tone circulate around the legs. And I'm always fascinated by this. As I sway around my legs, I can feel the tone move like a wave around my thigh muscle or my hamstring. It's not all of my thigh is toning at once. A portion of it is, and then it moves like a wave. I could not do that. If I consciously tried to control my muscle like that, I would not be able to do it because I would tone it all. I'd pull the whole muscle up. Where if I come into my center of gravity with awareness and I allow myself to just flow spontaneously around my body, where I'm not trying to control my legs, but the natural connection to my center and the alignment of the body, the alignment of the root and rise, the alignment of my body with gravity, is that it creates a natural integrity. It creates its own tone. The body has its own natural integrity. When I allow myself to just be present and my body is engaged in its own natural integrity, it only does what it needs to do and no more. So it doesn't have to tone the full thigh muscle to keep its balance. It only will tone the bit that's required. So as I sway around the four corners of my feet, the tone is swaying all around my body like a wave. Now, why am I saying this? It's because I want you to focus on the softness of it. Now, where's the softness? The softness is on the wave of release afterwards. So feel the tone, and then notice how it moves like a wave, and then notice after the tone, there's a second wave, but that wave is of release. You feel the tone releasing itself. You feel the muscles releasing themselves. That's what I want you to focus on today. Not so much on the tone, but it's the wave that comes after it. It's that wave of release. And that's your softness. So as long as you can keep in that release, is you're fully engaged in the tone, but you're also in control of the center of it, the balance of it. You're just letting your body do the work, and you're neither pushing it too hard or pulling it away. You're just letting your body find where that tone and release is. So as you measure and follow the release, is you are spontaneously and naturally following the balance of your body. So now, here we are. I want you to do this. Okay? And you're opening your fingers, your thumb and your hand, and then you're closing them. Now what I want you to do is notice as you breathe, you're inhaling, you're exhaling. So this is an inhale, and this is an exhale. Now I want you to inhale, and the length of your breath equals the length of the movement in your hands. As long as you're exhaling, your hands are closing. As long as you're inhaling, your hands are opening. And I want you to look at your hands while you do it, and I want you to observe your breathing through your hands. And can you make your hands look like your lungs, that action of your lungs? Can you see your hands breathing? Inhale. So you're luring the breath into the hand movements and all the joints in the fingers, the thumb and the hands. And the tone in your hands is equal to the tone in your lungs. And the same if you put your arms forward, hands are open. When you exhale, the hands are down. When you inhale, the hands are up, and you just work on the wrist. Exhaling and inhaling. And you're breathing at the pace you're swaying, and you're moving your hands at the pace you're swaying and you're breathing. And notice that when you reach the limit of your movement, is it gets a little bit restrictive. I need you to meet that like you meet the ends of your breath. Come slowly to it, touch off it, there's a moment of pause, and then you change direction. So even if you feel a bit of tightness, just don't go forcing into the tightness. Is meet that tone, meet that tension, meet that tightness, and then release into it as long as there's release. If you're losing the release, you've gone too far. So you're not pushing your joints to the limit, you're just meeting your joints in the space that they can flow, they can engage, and at the same time, they can release. Now when your hands are here, exhaling over to one side, inhaling over to the other side. So this is coming up, exhaling, out and down, inhaling, out and up. Now when you're doing this, it's only the wrists. It's only the wrists that are moving. So if you look at yourself and you see the whole forearms are moving, it's not the forearms, it's just the wrists. So again, it requires a certain amount of focus, concentration, and again, mindfulness. And you're doing the wrists. And then exhale, inhaling up and over, exhaling out and down. And you're just massaging out your wrist joints. And then feel the tone and pressure in the wrist and have your breathing mimic it. Now from here, if you turn your palms up like this, and actually let's put the hands down for a second, is just check in with your wrists. Let your hands relax. Let the weight of your hand just draw down on the wrist joint a little bit. Maybe give your hands a little shake like that. And again, just let that little bit of space and freedom come into your wrist and just notice what it feels like. And there's no right or wrong in it. Is if it's a bit tired, a bit achy, you don't feel anything at all, is just notice what you notice. That's all that's important. That you're just bringing awareness, awareness to your body and awareness to the joints. Yeah. Now from here, we're going to bring the palms upwards. So arms are straight, shoulder level, and roll your shoulders back. Now from here, take a breath in, and you're going to exhale, tips of the fingers to the collarbones, and then you're going to inhale all the way back out. And again, it's a different movement. You're working the hinge joint of the elbow. Breathe still. The length of the breath. equals the length of the movement. And again, you're working the hinge joints of the elbows. And a good thing to measure is notice the difference between one and the other. Does one work easier than the other? Give you more control over it? Is one a little bit more open? One's a little bit more resistant? You never know. Just notice. Now, the next time you bring the tips of your fingers to your collarbones, leave them here. I'm going to get you to take your elbows out to the side. Now, from here, we're going to work on the ball and socket joint in the shoulder. We're working the collarbone and the shoulder blade as well. So I want you to inhale, elbows come up. Exhale, take the elbows back and down. This is an exhale. And as you transition, look, now you're coming forward and up, you're inhaling. And make a circle with the elbows. And as you transition, exhaling out and down. And again, you would think, oh, this is easy. Look, that looks super easy. It's straightforward. But again, can you be precise? Inhaling. Now let's reverse. You inhale back and up. You exhale forward and down. You inhale forward, now back and up. You exhale forward and down. And again, if you've got a bit of tightness around the neck and shoulders, is you might feel it a little bit. So the first few are fine. Then you might find that it takes a little bit of effort. You might feel a bit tired or a bit of tightness, even a bit of an ache. Again, don't push the edges where you can't stay soft. So you're always moving at the same pace, always being able to meet the tone and feel the release afterwards. So you're not pushing yourself into tight corners or letting yourself get stuck or trapped in the joint. And what do I mean by that? Extend out the arms, okay? And if we push the ball up into the socket here, it reduces our mobility. Where if we draw the ball out of the socket, it increases our mobility. So that when we're meeting the limits, we don't want to be forcing the joints, we want to extend a little bit. So open across your shoulders, then to the back of the neck. We're doing this on Wednesday, but there's a much stronger expression of it. So draw the breastbone down and extend through the armpits, right through the elbows, wrists, all the way to the fingers and thumb. Now, very simply, is just do the physical movement first. Rotate your hand upwards. So you rotate the wrist and the elbow and then the shoulder. Ball and socket joint in the shoulder. So now rotate the wrist, the hand and wrist. Look, here comes the elbow and then here comes the shoulder, the ball and socket joint. So just be careful. You're not doing this. You're just rotating the ball and socket joint itself. So it's a smaller movement as opposed to this. Okay? So now inhale your hand, wrist, elbow, ball and socket joint. And then exhale, hand, wrist, elbow, and ball and socket joint. Now again, inhaling. Now, I'd suggest you do it with your mouth closed. I'm just doing it with my mouth open so you can hear it really easily. I've got to breathe a little harder for you to hear it through my nose, and I don't need to breathe that hard to actually do the movement. Exhaling. Now again, if you're finding it gets in your arms, getting a little bit tired, just keep doing it, but look, bring them down here so they're not so tired. But you're still in that rotation. And this is where a lot of times people can really begin to feel it around the neck and shoulders. You might find it feels a little tired. That's okay. That's part of it. Keep moving into the tone that you can release into. That's all that matters. And allow yourself to do little adjustments where you're not getting stuck in it. Don't be forcing yourself into places that are too tight. Do slightly less. Here we go. Okay. Now from here, the next time the hands come up, I'm going to get you to inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to bring your hands down, pointing forward towards each other. Not forward, sorry, together. Pointing towards each other all the way down. And then rotate the hands. Extend, open the rib cage. Inhaling up we come. Fingers pointed towards each other. Exhaling. Look, as you transition, you rotate the hands, wrist, elbow, and shoulder. Inhaling. And exhaling. And lengthen the breath. Just lengthen the movement. So notice how this makes you breathe deeper. It opens up your rib cage, it opens up your lungs. Works across the arm and shoulders and the neck. And it just opens up the body a little bit more. And we're going to reverse it. We're going to inhale and we're coming up. The fingers pointed towards each other. As you come all the way up and out, as you start to go outwards, you're exhaling all the way as you're coming in. And then one more. Now just let the hands be down by the side. We're going to work on the neck a little bit and we're going to incrementally go down through the spine. Yeah. So again, always in the same sway, center of gravity, swaying with the tone and release, and then breathing and breathing the tone and release, and just incrementally going through all the joints in the body. So now the head is level, and what I want you to do is bring your chin down towards the chest without bending the neck, so you're just tilting the head, and then I want you to bring the chin up and tilt the head upwards. So you're exhaling down, and you're inhaling upwards. And again, notice, now this is a much smaller movement, so your breath's that little bit more subtle. Chin down, and then chin up. And you're inhaling, and next time when the chin comes down, inhale over to your right, make a circle with the chin. You're inhaling all the way up, and then you're exhaling all the way up and down. And inhaling. And then reverse. The chin is going out and up, exhaling out and down. And again, always moving at that nice, steady pace. And then from there, back to center. And what I want you to do is bring the chin over to your right. It's a little dip of the chin. Inhaling back to the center. Exhaling over to the left. Just a little dip of the chin towards the collarbone. Just a little one. Inhaling. And exhaling. So you're looking to maintain the length of the neck. But notice as you sway to one side, you just sort of give your neck a little bit of a squeeze. But remember, it's pressure and it's release. So you're not forcing into tightness. You're just feeling it out. Think of it like a massage. Inhale to the center and exhale. Now, what's the value of this? A lot of times if you're used to going to a yoga class, this stuff can seem a little tedious. It's like you want to jump into stuff, get stuck into it, you know. Now, if you think about it from the point of view of body awareness, is that you're opening up the awareness of your body, and you're opening up the awareness of your joints, and inhaling back to center. And what you're doing is you're getting familiar with the mobility of your joints. So you've got the stability, you root down, as you lift up through your body, it opens all the joints, and that gives you your mobility. So think about the awareness in your body is being aware of the mobility of your joints. And you're exploring the limits of your mobility without an intense pressure, without much body weight, or no compounding, no overstretching. It's all about just how does this joint move when I'm not putting under a lot of strain. I'm just in the spaciousness of the joint itself. Is how much can this joint release? What's its range of motion? And you'll start to notice as you do that, you start to notice that if the range of motion in a joint is limited, you'll notice then that the muscles around it might be tight. And you're starting to notice those tight areas. And then as you just move in the release of it, is you start to open up those tight muscles. So energetically, it's quite an advanced practice to be able to go through all the joints in your body and open them up and get the energy flow. It's actually quite an advanced practice. So while this seems tedious at times, you want to get on to something else, is there's a real benefit to be able to move your head like a pendulum. So notice now I'm in the energetics of it. I'm moving my head like a pendulum. I'm swaying with that lovely rotation in my neck. But at the same time, you'll notice I'm in that lovely sway of my center of gravity. So it's not just my head and my neck I'm working, my whole body's involved in it. So I get that beautiful connection between my head, my neck, and the rest of my spine. If I wanted to bring it in a little bit more, is give this one a go. Is let this happen. See this here? And really what you're doing is you're still swaying through the four corners of the feet. But when you do this like this, it just creates a little bit of rotation in the rib cage. You get that nice sense of a rotation. Now you're doing it like a pendulum. So it gives a nice little rotation to the back of the rib cage, the upper spine, and you're just in the pendulum of it. It's actually really nice. And exhaling, inhale to the center, exhale to the other side. And then just sway in the pendulum. Just swaying in it. Now another one to do is, see this here? I want you to round. So you're inhaling, up, exhaling back and down. Inhale forward and up. Exhale back and down. And again, if you've got tension around the neck and shoulders, you're going to feel it. This is really getting into it. Yeah. So let's reverse it. Is inhale back and up, exhaling forward and down. Now, if you want to have a little bit of fun with it, is can you do this? Can you allow yourself to sway and just roll in those ball and socket joints in the shoulders, roll in the collarbone and the shoulder blade. And again, there's a subtle swaying. I'm swaying and I'm flexing my spine from side to side. Is just getting right into that upper spine. And again, letting yourself be in the swaying motion of it. You're just opening up the spine. It's actually really nice. Okay, then from here, let's try this one. So I'm standing at the side so you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. So I'm letting my shoulders round a little bit. So I'm rounding out my upper back, and then I'm going to prop my chest a little bit. And what I'm doing is that I'm opening up the back of my vertebrae. Now I'm opening up the front of my vertebrae. I'm exhaling and inhaling. And don't be surprised if you start to feel quite warm. Because when you really begin to work in at your joints, it actually generates quite a bit of heat. Quite a bit of heat. Don't be surprised if you're like, oh, I'm starting to feel this now. And again, that's the energy flowing. That's the energy flowing, and as it works through the joints, you'd be surprised at how hot your body can get. Even in these simple movements, you're actually generating quite a lot of heat. And again, just feeling. Now, next time you do this, is leave the spine rounded a little bit. Leave it round. And let your knees bend a little bit more. And what I want you to do is this. See this gentle bounce? Just a gentle bounce in the knee joint. And with your spine a little rounded, it's just use that nice pressure there just to open up the upper back, open up your vertebrae. And again, you're following a nice sensation. If it feels good, just keep doing it. So now we're going to do the reverse, is roll the shoulders back. I want you to prop the chest. So now you're giving the upper spine at the back a nice squeeze, but you're opening up the front of your spine. Okay, and again from there, it's just a simple bounce. And breathe deep. Breathe deep into the rib cage and upper chest. It opens up a nice release across your collarbones and your shoulder blades, yeah? Okay, now here back to normal for a sec. So now what I want you to do is bend your knees a little bit more. Okay? Now we're going to do a spinal roll. So believe it or not, this is quite challenging. It's not a hinge joint, so you're not folding from the ball and socket joint, we're rounding our spine. So the first thing we're going to do is to dip the chin, let the chin, not just the chin, but let the neck round a little bit, and then inhale, straighten the neck, level the head. Dip the chin around the neck, and then inhale, back up again. So you're just working your head and your neck. You keep a little soft knee, go a little deeper into it. Now we're going to go a little further. So now look, the chin, here's the neck. Now you've got to bend your knees a little bit more and let the hips come back slightly and allow your shoulders to hang. So when you do this, when your shoulders are rounding, check that your arms are hanging. So if your arms are rigid like this, let the arms hang, let the shoulders round, and with the knees bent is again, go back into that space in your upper spine where we were. So there you go. And then I want you to straighten the legs a little bit as you inhale. Straighten the upper spine, shoulders roll back, neck comes straight and head comes level. And the chin, the neck, the shoulders, bend the knees. And you're going to round and bend the knees a little bit more. And then you're going to round down through the middle spine to the lower back. Okay? And then you're inhaling. Exhaling. That's it. Now just keep doing it. Chin, neck, shoulders, rib cage, lower back. And bend the knees. The trick is to bend the knees. If your hands come to the floor, that's great. Inhale, knees bend. You're rounding from the pelvis. And you come straight. And then down again, bend the knees, let yourself around, bend the knees, let yourself around. You gotta bend the knees and let the spine round. So while you're opening up the back of the spine, you give the front of the spine a bit of a squeeze. Okay. And next time, knees bend, rounding down, bend the knees. Now when you come to your lower spine, when you feel your lower back, is what I want you to do is just hold it there. Now bending the knees stabilizes the hips, it stabilizes the spine, it can release out of the back of the pelvis. And this can be pretty strong, yeah? So with the knees bent, is find that spot that allows you to just feel the release in your lower spine. Is feel the length come into the vertebrae in your lower spine. Now there's a bit of tightness in your lower back, you're going to feel it. Now what I want you to do is just feel it and keep that little sway going and let yourself sway. His knees are bent, so you've stable legs. You're releasing your spine from the back of the pelvis, and then in that gentle sway is let yourself just feel the tone and release in your lower back, and then just look to release it. Gentle micro movements, gentle breathing, and just releasing. Now from there, let's come on down into table position. So the hands are the width of the shoulders, the knees are the width of the hips. You want your knees underneath your hips and your hands underneath your shoulders. Yeah. If there's a bit of pressure on your wrists, is you bring your knees slightly back so that the weight's more on the knees and less on the wrists. Okay. Now you'll notice in today's session. Yeah, actually, I'll get you to do this first. So here you are. So press through the hands, the full hand, length of the fingers, the thumb, the butt of the hand, is rotate the soft part of the elbow out a little bit, just a little bit. Just take shoulders away from the ears, lengthen the back of the neck, look directly at the floor. Bring your breastbone under your groin, slightly close, a little close till you feel a tone in your navel, and press through your feet. And again, the pelvis is ever so slightly, send the tailbone away from the body until you feel your pelvic floor, and then I want you to sway again. We're back in that sway. You're making a circle, and you're swaying your weight around the two knees and the two hands. And just do that. I'll explain what I'm doing. Is that the real release in today's session is going to be at the end of the session. Is I very much got into the beautiful flow of the breath last week. I didn't do a huge amount of postures because I really wanted you to stay in that. Where today I'm systematically taking you through the joints, so you got to think about it a little bit more. You can be sometimes it'll be a little bit mechanical today because you're just getting used to it. So I don't want you to get too floaty in today's session while you're bringing in the mindfulness of moving through your joints. But by the end of today's session, when we release into all those open joints, you'll get what I'm saying about that beautiful energy flowing and the energy flowing through the channels of your body. So that when we come and do this next week, it'll be a little less mechanical, because now you know that pressure and release that opens up the channels. So today we've got to be a little bit more mechanical in our descriptions, just to make sure that you're getting the mindfulness of it. Yeah. So again, if you're used to doing this, is you will already be making your circle a little wider. If you're not, let yourself sway a little wider, more so in the hips, and you get this lovely massage in the ball and socket joint of your hips. You'll even feel it in the ball and socket joints of your shoulders. And what's happening is the weight of your torso is coming down onto the hip socket and in the hip and the shoulder. And you're just able to massage the ball and socket joints. And it feels really, really nice. So find that pace that you can breathe at. Find that pace where you can meet the tone and release into it in your body and in your breath. And you're exploring the range of your joints. Now change the direction. Inhaling forward and out, exhaling out and back. And you start off with a small circle and incrementally take it out, is again just notice different pressures and releases, and in particular in your hip socket and your shoulder socket. If there's too much pressure on your wrists, is put more weight on your knees, and now the pressure isn't so much on the wrist, and you can get into those ball and socket joints a little bit more. And there's always the same rule: if it feels good, keep doing it. You're following the energetics. You're following the flow of energy and the channels in your body. And at the start, is really you're just going to notice sensations in your body. And then you go, oh, that sensation feels nice. If I keep doing this, that sensation keeps flowing. Oh, it's moving. It's moving from one hip, it's going across my pelvis. Oh, there it is going up my back a little bit. There it is going down my leg a little bit. So you'll notice that is once you feel a lovely sensation and you start flowing with it, it moves, it goes in different directions. And that's you. And you can ease off for a sec. Is sit back onto your heels just for a sec, point the toes back, let your hands rest onto your thighs. That's you starting to open up the channels in your body. Okay, so hands are on the thighs. We'll do this one for a little bit. This will be interesting. Okay, so now if there's a bit of pressure on your ankle or your knees, put a cushion under your backside a little bit. Yeah. If you want to be more specific, if it's your knees, put a cushion under your backside. If it's your ankles, put a cushion under your ankles itself. Okay. Now from here, what I want you to do is push the front of your feet and the shins, the front of your foot and your shins. I want you to push them into the floor a little bit. I want you to gently bounce like this. So you can see I'm bouncing just a little bit. And when you do that, it gives the ankle a lovely stretch. Gives it a lovely stretch, but at the same time, it gives you a nice bit of pressure in your hinge joint of your knee. And at the same time, I want you to bring your pelvis neutral and it'll rotate the hip sockets open. Okay. Now, if you're not sure about your pelvis being neutral, ease off on the bounce, stick your bum out like a duck, stick it out. And you'll feel your abdominal wall go slack, your pelvic floor go slack. So now here's the pelvis slightly tilted. I want you to slowly bring it back. So you send the tailbone down, slowly bring it back until you feel the pelvic floor draw up. The base of your pelvis, it tightens, it draws up. Okay, so once you have that, now start to bounce. And I want you to bounce on the tone of your pelvic floor. And notice how it opens up your hip socket. Gives you a nice pressure in your knee joint, a nice pressure in your shin joint. It's a nice massage effect. Now there's no compressing. There's nothing aggressive at all. This is just, you're moving in the fascia of the body, really. Think about your skin, and the layers of your skin. Is you've got the muscles and the layers of your muscles. You've got your joints and your bones. But there's this white tissue, like the white of an orange, that layers all the way through your body. It's called your fascia. It's your connective tissue. It keeps everything connected. It's really all this bouncing that we're doing is really working on the fascia. And the fascia can, as we get older, can gather in clumps and get really tight and creates a lot of restriction. So a lot of times when we think a muscle is tight, it's not the muscle, it's the fascia that's tight. So see all this bouncing here? Is imagine that you were observing an orange bouncing, and the white of the orange is like a spring effect, and you're massaging the fascia. So every time we change position, is we're applying that lovely pressure and release into the fascia itself. It actually feels very nice. And we're bouncing on our pelvic floor. You should be feeling your stomach tone. You feel the trunk of your body tone. Okay, now feel that. Just keep a little bounce going. Interlock your fingers and straighten out your arms. Okay, and there's a bit of rigidness in the elbow. Nice straight elbows. Now ease off on the bounce. I want you to roll your shoulders back, but keep pushing through the front of your feet a little bit. Roll the shoulders back. Now lengthen the back of the neck, but throw your breastbone down. So as the back of the neck comes up, the breastbone stays neutral. So normally we have to draw it down a little bit. So roll the shoulders back, neck long, breastbone down. And if you do this with the arms, you're going to feel the arms to the shoulders, to the upper back, to your core. You should feel your core tone. So neck long, breastbone down, and you find the trunk of your body tighten. And if you push your feet, the front of your feet slightly into the floor, you should actually feel your pelvic floor tighten. So there's different muscle locks in the body. And we'll talk about them on a different course. I'll do a 6-week course on the locks at a different point. But you're going to feel your pelvic floor and your core. And just bounce in them. Okay, now here's the arms. You'll notice I'm slowly floating my arms up. Slowly. Still bouncing. Slowly floating my arms up. Now as I do, I'm keeping my neck long and my breastbone down. Just I'm keeping it level. So there's a tendency for this one, I'm making sure the breastbone stays level. So as the arms float up, notice how, shoulders away from the ears, your upper back is getting firmer and your core is getting firmer. You feel the trunk of your body getting nice and tight. There's a lovely tone to it. So just work the upper back, work the core. You'll even feel your pelvic floor drop. It's super nice. Okay, lovely tone. And then we come, because I don't want to get too intense. It's restorative as opposed to a full-on core workout. Not what we're looking for. Now, another way you can do this, you'll hear people say, push through the front of your feet and rotate your thighs out. When you rotate your thighs out, it opens up the ball and socket joint. Lets you sit into your hips. If you push through your feet and gently bounce, it naturally rotates the thigh and opens up your hip socket as well. Because you're in the natural vibrancy of the body. You're in the root and rise. You're in the energy of gravity that draws us down and then lifts back up. And if you think about the atmosphere that we live in on the planet, is just an energy that draws us down, and then there's an energy that lifts us up. So a tree has to root to grow up. A bird has to flap down to lift up. So there's that resistance down that gives us a rise up. So see, when you're bouncing like this, is when you get that lovely vibrancy or energetic bounce, is literally you're bouncing in that life force that is gravity. And you're just engaging with that life force in your body, the energetics of it. And your body really understands it. Your fascia really understands it. It's lovely. Anyway, come on, I'm getting distracted. So here we are, back in table position. So from here, what I want you to do is we're going to do cat pose. I'm going to get you to push through your hands and feet a little bit, shoulders open, tuck the pelvis slightly. So send the tailbone up, tuck the pelvis like we're doing in a spinal roll, and round up through your spine, up to the back of the rib cage. And keep your shoulders open. And as you lift up through the back of the rib cage, you let the chin come down. And remember, as the chin comes down, lengthen the neck. So you're opening up the spine, and then I want you to sway. And sway nice and fluidly. You're still in your center of gravity. I want you to sway at the same pace that you've been swaying at all along. And you're exhaling as you go back. You're inhaling as you come forward, and you're rolling up and down your spine. Super nice. And from here, coming back to neutral with your spine, we'll keep the sway. So keeping the sway going, what I want you to do is bring your chin forward and up, keeping the shoulders open. Now you're going to feel a pressure across your neck and shoulders. And remember, it's a nice pressure. And then notice as you release it, it's like a massage, pressure and release. And then send your sit bones in the air. Stick your backside in the air. And now you're giving the back of the spine a nice bit of a squeeze, and the front of the spine a nice release. And again, only as long as you feel a pressure and then a release. It's never a pinch. If it's a pinch, you've gone too far. Ease off. Find that space that you can keep releasing into. And just let yourself release into it. Okay. Now from here, back to neutral. We're going to round up the spine a little bit here again. Just give yourself one or two. Okay. And from there, let's work on the hips and the legs a little bit more, yeah? And if I sit this way so you can see me, so you can face your camera or your screen, is what I want you to do is heels down, knees up, sit bones down. And if you need to take the flesh out of the way, take the flesh out of the way a little bit, is you have your hands in a position that allows your hands to support your weight coming down through your sit bones. So once your weight comes down through your sit bones, no leaning back into your hands like this. Is don't take the weight off your bum bones. Keep them on the bum bones and use your hands for support if you need to. Classically, you'd have the fingers pointing forward, and again, you're rolling the shoulders. I have a really long spine, so I actually can't get my hands down. So this would be a classical guideline in a lot of postures. Just doesn't work for me. My body isn't that shape. So I rotate like this, I come onto the tips of my fingers, and that really gives me, I take them out further away, that really gives me the space and the strength in my arms to really help myself sit straight. Anyway, so from here, is straighten out your legs, or straighten out your legs as much as you can. Don't get too stressed about that, yeah? But we're going to focus on the toes. So what I want you to do is spread out your toes, bring them back towards your head, and then I want you to point your toes forward. Inhale back, exhale forward. Okay, and just do that. Inhale back, exhale forward. Now just the toes, it's not the whole foot. Inhaling, exhaling. Okay, so I was moving my ankles there a little bit, so it takes focus. I'm focusing on you, I'm trying to focus on this. Okay, so now with the ankles is now, you have your heels down, bring your toes back and bring your toes forward, but this time work the ankles. So you're inhaling and you're exhaling. You're inhaling and exhaling, and feel all the work happen in your ankles. And again, pressure and release. Only work in the spaces where you can feel the pressure, but at the same time that you can release into. And again, don't be surprised if you feel a bit of tiredness in your ankles or a bit of soreness in them. So if you need it, nice and gently, let yourself flow in and out. Now, the next time you point your toes, bring your toes around over to the right, bring them back and around. Okay, and like this. And what you're doing is you're rotating around your ankles. Exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling and inhaling. And we're just rotating around the ankle joint. And because the heel is on the ground, it actually gives you a lot of control in the ankles. And then switch. Around it goes. Again, that was my right ankle cracking a little bit. So you'll find different cracks and crinks in your body. There's one of my toes going. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Okay, now from here, back to center, is we're going to work on the knee joint. So you let one leg be nice and straight. So I've got my left leg for the moment, simply because it's the side you can see. So if you under two hands under the back of the knee, bring the leg up close to the chest, and curl the toes, extend the heel, and then what I want you to do is straighten out your leg. So don't keep it up so high that you can't straighten your leg. So let the knee come down, or let the leg come down until you can straighten the leg, and then bend. Do this here. Okay? So curl the toes, extend from the heel, send the heel away, and then you'll really feel the knee joint work. There you go. So inhaling, exhaling. And the other side, I'm going to straighten it out. Again, taking a good grip under the knee, curl the toes, extend the heel, and again, as you send the heel away, the knee straightens out. So keeping the foot active. And then down. Now from here, is what I want you to do is separate your feet wider again. You're on the sit bones. Now you can give your hands a good support to stay sitting on the sit bones. Curl the toes, extend the heels. So now on this one here is rotate. Rotate. Now if it's a bit tight, you can do it this way too. So that if the legs aren't straight down, don't stress about it. Put them in a position that if the hamstrings are tight, that you're in control of the leg, and you're not battling with the tightness. Okay, so you rotate the feet in, because look, it rotates the ankle joint, the knee joint, and really what you're doing is you're rotating in at the ball and socket joint. So you rotate the ball and socket joint in, and then when you rotate the foot out, is you really feel it in the ball and socket joint of the hip. And exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling. and just get used to that, is open up your awareness of your joint itself and the mobility of the joint. Feel it move. And again, if you get a bit of tightness in the hips, you're going to feel this. You might feel a bit tight, a bit tired. The first few are fine, but you'd be surprised when you start doing 5 or 6. You're like, oh, this actually takes a bit of effort, takes a bit of focus. Inhaling, exhaling. Okay, now from here is, again, this one is, again, you can sit with your hands underneath your shoulders or behind them. If you've got a bit of wall, is you can sit and put the 2 dimples, you lean forward and put the back of the pelvis to the wall, and you can bring your feet, soles of the feet together. Okay, and again, you can put your hands underneath your shoulders if you wish as well. Okay, now from here, what I want you to do is take your toes out and press your heels together. So rather than the whole foot, is press the heels but spread out the toes. Okay, now what that does is that when you spread out the toes and press the heels, it naturally rotates the thigh. So you feel your hips open more. And if you're not sure, put your feet together. You feel like the weight of your legs is now passive. Press the heels together, take the toes out. Now, see the heel here? Here's the heel here. When you follow up, you've got the ball in your socket of your hip. When you press these heels together, is you're activating the ball socket joint in your hip. You have more control. And then you can do this, a little bounce. Now look, it's a little bounce. Remember we talked about the fascia and the ligaments and the joints, the muscles, just you're coming into that bounce that just releases. It just releases. So there's no compressing, there's no compounding, there's no aggression in it at all. You're just coming into natural bounce. You can even do this with your hands. Just a nice release. And again, if it feels good, keep doing it. And we're just opening the hips a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So if you think about a lot of people like to do vinyasa, they like to flow, the flowing part of the practice is getting into all your joints and getting into the flow of your joints and getting into your awareness of the mobility of your joints. It really opens up the space that your body moves in. So every posture that you're moving through, it's a combination of joint mobility and tone. So the more your awareness opens up to the mobility of your joint and the awareness of engaging that joint, is you can marry that with the tone in your muscles and you get that lovely flow of energy. And you're opening up the energetic channels in your practice, and you can do it nice and strongly in the stronger postures. But getting into the energetics of it is doing a practice like this, is doing joint release, is doing restorative, and opening up to the subtlety of using softness to open up your body. That you don't always have to use strong postures or aggression or intensity. Is you can use softness and it'll really open you up. It's really nice. So again, notice how it feels in the hips. Again, if there's a bit of tightness, you're going to come to it. And again, you're just soothing it out. You're just soothing it out. It's just a nice release. That's all it is. Okay, now from here is we're going to go down to the floor a little bit more. So what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to lie flat on your back. And as you lie flat on your back, is we do another spinal release. This is a lovely spinal rotation. It's lovely subtle. So your feet are in front of your knees a little bit. So just be careful you don't want your feet bunched up. It puts a lot of pressure on the knee joint. So when you bring your feet forward until you feel that the knees are comfortable and you get your feet flat. Okay, now palms turned upwards, a little bit away from the body. So the first thing I'm going to get you to do is bring your knees, keep them close together, bring your knees an inch or two to the right, back to the center, and then an inch or two to the left, and then back to the center. And then just keep doing that. Now remember the center of gravity and the sway and the pendulum effect is just let your weight roll across the back of the pelvis. So the weight of the legs is always pressing the back of the pelvis, and then you're using the weight of your leg to massage all the ligaments at the back of the pelvis. Never letting the legs fall over to the side. All the way to the leg, just massaging all the ligaments at the back of the pelvis. And again, you're in that beautiful tone and release, that massage effect. And as your knees go to one side, you dip your chin, it goes to the other side. And again, you're rolling, dip the chin, you're rolling the weight of your head across the ligaments at the base of the skull. And you're not craning your head. It's a smaller movement than you think. You're only moving your chin an inch or two either side. No tightness into the neck. You're massaging the ligaments at the base of your skull. Now also, it gives you a lovely rotation in your spine, your lower back. Gives you a lovely rotation in your spine and your neck. You're rolling your weight across all the muscles in your back, and it actually feels very, very soothing. So you're still in your center of gravity. You're still in micro movements. You're following the nicest sensation. You're still in your breath, and you're just in the effortlessness of the flow. But at the same time, you're layering in the mindfulness that you're systematically going through all the joints in your body, and you're opening them. And you're opening all the channels, opening up all the locks, all the little locks in your body. Each joint is a lock. Release it and let the energy flow through it. And it feels absolutely gorgeous. Now, as a life skill, is being able to keep your joints open means that you maintain your vitality in your body, and you also maintain your mobility. And again, if you're 20-something, that won't mean much to you, unless you're losing it already. If you're 30-something, you'll start to feel a few more aches. If you're 40-something, it's like you'll be going, oh God, what's going on? If you're 50-something, you've come to a bit more peace with the limitations. If you're 60-something, your joints are getting weaker. By the time you're 70 or 80, if you're not looking after yourself, the body's getting more and more feeble. And that's the way it goes. But if you keep the joints open, if you keep your joints mobile, your energy can flow much more freely around your body. Your muscles can engage in the center of gravity much more easily. You maintain the natural integrity of your body. You maintain the mobility in your body. And the more we move through life, mobility becomes more and more important. And so your stability is down, your mobility is lifting up through, so you open up the joints, and then that gives you your flexibilities, how far you go. And between your mobility, between your stability, maintaining your mobility, maintaining your flexibility, is that allows you to maintain adaptability in your body. And the more adaptable you can be in your body, essentially the healthier it is. And from here, just coming back to center, is what I'm going to get you to do. Take your hands out a little wider, palms up. Press the forearms into the floor a little bit. I want you to lift and cross your right thigh high over your left thigh. And again, when I'm in class, I say like a lady. So cross your legs over like a lady, as opposed to the man who puts the ankle on the knee. And so like a lady. Okay, so right thigh high over the left thigh. Now from there is really press the forearms down a little bit more. And what I want you to do is take both knees over to your left a little bit. Just a tiny little bit. So the back of your right pelvis is off the floor a little bit. Just a little bit. Now your right sit bone, your bum bone, I want you to push your bum bone down and slightly tuck your pelvis. So send the bum bone down and slightly tuck your pelvis. And you're going to feel your right oblique work. Your trunk will engage and the right oblique will work. Okay, now from there, when you feel that, I want you to turn your head to the right. Okay, and pressing both forearms in, bit of stability in the upper body. And then do you see this little rocking thing I'm doing with my legs? I want you to send the right sit bone down, tuck the pelvis, and just a little rock in your legs like this, and it gives your T-band on the right side of your leg a lovely engagement. It opens out the fascia on the right side of the outside of your leg. Your right oblique works, your core works a little bit, and it just helps open up your right hip socket a little bit more. It's really, really nice. And again, it's just that gentle little bouncing effect. You're just working the natural integrity of your fascia, your connective tissue. And it's really, really nice. And just gently bouncing in it. This is one of these positions that if you're at home and you're just hanging out, read a book, listen to some music, watch a TV program, chat to somebody, put yourself in that position, and while you're talking to them, is do this for half an hour. And your hips will love you. They'll fall in love with you. It'll be just like, once you get to release, it just keeps releasing and releasing and releasing. It's really, really nice. And to be honest, any of the movements that I've shown you today, you could be doing other casual stuff that you do in your everyday life, but you've got the time, you're there at home and you're doing something, is work on a joint. Work on it. You pick one of the positions, and when you're reading the book or if you're cooking, is come into your sway and just plant your feet and just enjoy the lovely sway of your breath and the tone of your breath and your center of gravity. It's absolutely gorgeous. But you can be doing these things while you're doing other things in your life. That's really nice. It's actually a lovely way to add on a bit of practice without feeling like, I have to stop and do practice. And do it on the go. Okay, so now look, we're going to come back a little bit. Now we're going to release the legs. And again, it's the left thigh high over the right thigh. The funny thing happens in the classes, and this happens all the time, to be mainly women, but also guys, and I'd say cross the left thigh high over the right thigh like a lady, and all the guys will do it. All the guys will cross the legs like a lady, and all the ladies will do it except for one. There'll be one woman that'll do this. We'll put the ankle on the knee, and it's just funny, and then I have to say like a lady. Okay, so you're like this here. Now again, is look, let both knees go over to the right a little bit until you feel the back of the pelvis come up a little bit, an inch, half an inch as low. Now see the sit bone? It has a tendency to shorten like this. You're shorting here. So you want to send the sit bone down on a little top of the pelvis. And you're going to get this oblique work, and you'll feel your core work. And again, you get a lovely stretch here. You get a lovely release here. There's the bone socket joint. Once you have a movement, it goes away from the wall. And once you have that, keep pressing the forearms in for a bit of support. You turn your chin in the opposite direction. And again, there's that little bounce. There's that space where you're really just using the weight of your legs and you're gently bouncing into it. So the weight stays in the back of my right hip. I'm pressing down through the back of my right hip. My legs aren't falling over to the side. And how do you know you're getting it right? You're going to feel it on the outside of the left hip, down the side of the thigh. You feel it in the oblique. You feel your abdominals. It's gorgeous. You might even feel it through the back of the pelvis. And then just gently massage into it. You can get very specific now as you go along, as you get more familiar with your own body, and you get familiar with what areas are tight and what areas need to be released. Is if you know the movement is just intermittently through the day, is give yourself 2 or 3 minute little micro sessions, and it's about central gravity. Your breath is coming into the touch and connection, and then come into the release. And think of it like a massage. You're using the power of your ability to be soft. And that softening into is merging. Is you're softening into it. And as you soften into it, it opens and it releases. So if there's an ache, you release the ache. If it's tired, you release the tiredness. If it's sore, you release the soreness. And really it's just what you're doing is it's like self-care. It's just like a massage. But it's a massage that you can do yourself. A lot of times people, you get a massage from somebody, it's absolutely gorgeous. When you try to do it yourself, it doesn't feel the same.
This way it does. This way it does. This way it actually feels better than somebody else giving you a massage, because once you get used to it, you can be much more specific. And then when somebody gives you a massage and it's like, oh, that's really nice, and you'd wish that they would just do that for 10 minutes. Just right on that knot or right on that muscle. Just keep rubbing that muscle for 10 minutes. Where yourself, you could do it for 10 minutes. Just in that one spot that just keeps releasing. It's very valuable, super valuable. Okay, so from here, back around. Okay, now we're going to do some hip openers. So your knees are still bent, head is straight. If you separate your feet about 4 inches, knees about 4 inches. Now from there I want you to let your knees float out to the side. So you're going to come up onto the sides of your feet naturally. And then once you've come to your limit, I want you to float your knees back in. And again, your feet will come flat, and when they're all the way in, again, it's floating back out again. Now, every time you do it, slow it down until you find that you're moving at the same pace that you would be moving at if you're standing in your center of gravity. You're just flowing at that same pace because your body intrinsically understands it. Think about, there's a pace that you move at that your body can be spontaneously in it. It can be continuously spontaneous. And that pace isn't too fast and it isn't too slow. It's just right. And it's that tone and release that's in it. That's how you know. So now, how do you know you're getting the pace right here? Is you're going to feel like you're holding the weight of your leg, and you're going to feel like you're releasing the weight of your leg. And that's how you know you're getting it. There's the holding the weight of the leg is the effort, is the tone, and the releasing of the weight of the leg is the release. And that's you in the natural integrity. And the more and more you do this, is you're massaging the ligaments. You're going to feel it all around the ball and socket joint. You're going to feel all those ligaments, and they slowly start to release. It's a lovely release. And you're also working through the ball and socket joint, also through the pelvis into the lower spine. So the pelvis that runs through the spine that runs through the back of the pelvis to the tailbone, is you're working on your lower spine like that, and you're massaging it out. You're releasing out your nerves. So if you think about all the nerves in the pelvic bowl, the nerve endings in the pelvic bowl, is you'll notice that you're starting to feel a buildup of energy in your pelvic bowl. It's like energy just starts to flow into it. And what's happening is that you're massaging out your central nervous system, and it just begins to release energy into your pelvic bowl. Now just allow it to be a nice sensation. Just allow it to be energy, and then just let it be a nice sensation. You don't have to do anything with it. Just let it be there. And then notice how nice it feels. And then just for a couple of minutes, just let yourself keep flowing in the hip openers. And while you're opening your hips, you're also opening your lower spine. How do you know you're doing that? Is you're going to get that lovely release of energy into your pelvic bowl. That tells you that it's working. And again, remember we talked about opening the channels? Is opening the channels of the lower spine and the hips. It's really nice. Now that releases your root chakra. It's very grounding energy. So you notice it's actually very calming. And also releases your sacral chakra, which is your life force. So you'll also notice it's very enlivening. So while it's very calming, there's a nice feeling to it. You feel like the law of attraction. It's the type of energy that's we're naturally attracted to. It's vibrancy. It's life force itself. And it just feels nice. So just allow it to be there. And the next time you let your knees rest out, is put the soles of your feet together. And then you can decide where you put your feet, forward and back. That allows your hips to completely relax. If your legs get too heavy or your hips feel a bit of pressure, you can move your feet forward and back. You can take your feet out a little bit, and that lifts the knee, takes pressure off the hip. So wherever it is, wherever that position is right for you, just let it be there. Now just let the legs completely relax and let the energy circulate. So the energy that's in the pelvic bowl, let it circulate around the legs, let it circulate around the feet, but at the same time, is let it circulate through the hips. Now breathe into your navel. Breathe into your navel. And as you breathe into your navel, slow it down. Is let your navel affect your lower spine. Breathe into your rib cage. And let your upper spine breathe into your upper chest. That's up towards the shoulder blades and shoulders and neck, to the base of the skull, to the top of the skull. And just use a slow, deep breath to just open up the space in your body. So that nice sensation that you were releasing in your pelvic bowl is to just let it circulate. And then let it circulate up and down your spine. And just breathe. It's really nice. Now from there, let's bring the knees back in. And what I want you to do then is let your legs straighten out, feet about hip width apart. And feet about hip width apart. And then just relax, hands down by the side of your body, let your eyes close. And what I want you to do now is notice is the release of your legs. Is you get this lovely release and you get a nice energy flowing down the front of your thighs. So now just let that release. You get that lovely energy release run down the front of your thighs. Just breathe slow and deep, and then just let that energy just run down your legs. Just let it. It's like water, and let it go all the way down to the soles of the feet, through your calves, through your knee joints, through your shins, through your ankles, through your feet, all the way to the soles. At the same time, as you breathe into your navel, let that lovely flow of energy follow up through the trunk of your body, through your spine, through your rib cage, opening up into your chest, across the shoulders, through your neck and head, right up to the top of the skull, across the shoulders and down the arms. Just get that lovely sense of circulation, get that lovely sense of flowing sensations. You get these beautiful waves of sensation just moving through you. And that's just your life force moving through the channels in your body, moving through the nadis in the body. It's a lovely life force, lovely prana. Really, really nice. And it's all done by opening up your joints. Now, with the minimum of disturbance, I want you to roll over onto your belly. So you're still relaxing on the floor. You're on your belly. You turn your head to one side, and your palms are turned upwards. So palms upwards, let the elbows rest out because it relaxes your shoulders. Now put your big toes touching and let your heels rest out. So big toes touching and let your heels rest out. Okay? Then turn your head anytime you want. If the neck gets a little tight, you just turn your head anytime you need. Now from there, I want you to belly breathe. I want you to breathe deep into your navel, and then I want you to breathe your navel into the floor, and I want you to feel yourself breathing into your floor, or into that floor. And feel your abdominal wall press into the floor and spread out. Feel your obliques at the side of your body expanding, and feel your lower back expanding. And just begin to breathe into your lower back and just open out all the muscles. If you breathe a little deeper, you're going to feel that your lower spine is lifting away from the floor a little bit, and it elongates. You get that lovely openness of space between your joints. And again, how you know you're doing that is that you get a lovely flow of energy into your lower spine, and it's a gorgeous release. And again, as you're inhaling, it's going to send the the force down through the spine, so you'll feel the pelvis lift slightly. You get a subtle lengthening down towards your tailbone. As you breathe through your rib cage, again, it's going to expand, it's going to lift and lengthen the spine a little bit. So as you follow up through your breath into your chest, you get to breathe between your shoulder blades and your shoulders. You're breathing to the base of your neck, the base of your skull, to the top of your skull. So on your inhale, all your spine floats off the floor a little bit and then elongates. And the lovely way to view it, you keep breathing in your own time. A lovely way to think about it is that you've got a magnet, one at the tailbone and one at the top of the skull, and they're gently drawing away from each other. And that force drawing them away just opens up all your vertebrae. And that takes the pressure off all the nerves in your body, the nerve threads, and you just get this lovely release of energy because you're creating space deep in your body, right into your central nervous system itself. So when you exhale, is you feel the body contracting, all of your spine starts to lower towards the floor a little bit, but because of the contraction in your body, it keeps the elongation of your spine. The magnets are still drawing a little bit away from each other. So you get this lovely effect of the spine floating up and floating down, but at the same time it's elongating and releasing. You get these beautiful waves of energy, beautiful waves of energy. What I want you to do is breathe deep into them. Is notice how as you breathe into the floor, is it takes you deep into your body. And you'll notice a couple of truths in that. Is that you can feel your belly breathing into the floor. You can feel your body breathing into the floor. And the truth of it is, your body is always breathing into the floor. Whether you're standing on your feet, lying on your back, is whatever part of your body is touching the floor, is always breathing into it. There's always that subtle life force in meeting the floor and breathing into it. When you're lying on your belly, you can really feel it, but every part of your body is always breathing into the floor. And having that life force connection with awareness between your body and the floor is very grounding. There's a rightness to it. Every breath directly affects your spine itself. So notice as you're breathing and you're inhaling and exhaling, how much your breath is affecting your spine. That you can actually breathe your spine all the time and your breath is always affecting it. So as we come into the root and rise in our body, as we come into that natural integrity, is your breath is directly affecting your spine. Is that you're continuously breathing, not just your muscles and your joints, but you're breathing the internal organs. You're breathing your central nervous system. Is you have that integral tone that permeates everything. And the channels are open. All the joints are open. That gives you stability, it gives you mobility, it gives you flexibility, and that's adaptability. Your adaptability to keep the space open. And then let the energy flow through it. So we're going to move into lightness now. So what I want you to do is with the minimum amount of effort is roll over onto your back. So we're going to continue lying still. So as you roll over onto your back, again, let your feet rest outwards and your palms turn upwards. I just realized it's 29 minutes past 7. I can't believe it's an hour and a half already. So I'll leave you with this one. I'm going to talk you through it. Next week, I'll go a little bit further, but we're going to open up the heart a little bit more. We'll do a couple of postures opening up the heart chakra a little bit more. And then we may, I've got to try and figure out the filming, is we'll work on the neck and shoulders, do a bit of inversions on the wall, legs up the wall, shoulder stands against the wall. And we just take that release up through the spine a bit more. But for now, you're lying flat on your back. I want you to breathe super slow. Breathe as if you're still lying on your belly, but you're not. So you're not having to meet the resistance of the floor. But I want you to breathe like you're still lying on the floor. So breathe that slow, deep breath, but breathe it into the lightness. Breathe it into how much space you have. So breathe deep into the spaciousness. Breathe deep into the lightness. And as you do that through your navel, you've got this beautiful spaciousness, and then there's this flowing spaciousness as you breathe into your rib cage. And as you breathe through your upper chest, you get this beautiful, beautiful lightness and openness. At the peak of your inhale, You just feel yourself open, that beautiful inner space is open. I want you to surf the wave of lightness. So at the peak of your inhale, that moment to pause, stay in it for a couple of moments, and imagine you're catching a big wave of lightness and you're just surfing the lightness. But as you exhale, I want you to surf the effortlessness. You're exhaling in your navel, all that space, breathe deep into it and notice the effortlessness and surf the effortlessness of that space. As you're exhaling through your rib cage, it's that flowing effortlessness. And as you exhale all the way to your upper chest, you come to this beautiful pause at the end of your exhale where you just find a beautiful peace, a moment of stillness. You're not stopping, but you come to a stillness within yourself. And that effortlessness all the way to a stillness. Beautiful. And then in that stillness, in that pause, stay there a little longer and surf that wave of stillness. But as you inhale, now begin to surf the spaciousness. Feel how it's lifting you. You're expanding into it. You're flowing in it. You're getting lighter. You're getting bigger. You're getting higher. You're getting taller. You're opening. You're opening. You're opening. Becoming lighter and lighter and lighter. And you reach the peak of your inhale. You're just in lightness itself. Surf the wave. Surf that wave of lightness. And when you begin to exhale, surfing the wave of effortlessness. And it's a flowing wave in a beautiful space, flowing into that spaciousness. And as you come to the peaceful completion, effortlessly coming to a point of stillness, that moment to pause and surf that wave. And then notice, I want you to breathe from the stillness of the pause at the end of the exhale. So breathe from stillness. The pause at the peak of the inhale, I want you to breathe the lightness, and all you're doing is breathing effortlessness to stillness, and lightness and openness, all the way to a beautiful lightness itself. And then you're breathing the space in between. So there's effortlessness and stillness, spaciousness and lightness, and you're just breathing the space in between. And you're just flowing in waves of spaciousness. And you're opening up the channels in your body. You're opening up all the joints in your body. All the locks are opening up, and you just get these beautiful, glorious waves just permeating through you. Waves. Beautiful. And there's the waves of your breath. Then there's the beautiful ripples of your heartbeat. There's the lovely current of electricity in your brain. And just permeating all the way through these waves of sensation from your liver, your kidneys, your spleen, your digestive system, your reproductive system, all your glands, from the hairs on your skin, to the layers of your skin, to your fascia, your connective tissue, all the way down through the layers of your muscles, to your joints and your bones and your bone marrow, even the synovial fluid within the joint, right down to the very blood cells and cells of your body, to your central nervous system itself, so that you have all the cells in your body all moving in unison, all moving together, all moving at the same pace, all flowing in vibrancy of effort and no effort, of effortlessness and spaciousness and lightness, moving in their center of stillness and expanding all the way out to the openness and the lightness. And it's just gorgeous. All of the cells of your body moving in unison in the one space. It's just beautiful. A beautiful sense of connection. You're coming into the oneness of your body. You'd call it embodiment. All of your body in the one place at the one time, moving together in synchronicity. It's super nice. We could move into the energetics and the consciousness, but for today, just feel those beautiful waves of sensation in your body. And then enjoy it.
and let it last as long as it naturally lasts. I'm going to finish this session now, but you can continue on and then just enjoy it. And then whenever you're ready to come out of it, all you got to do is let yourself come out. Give yourself a little bit of a stretch when you're ready. And that's it. And then I'll see you next week. I'm going to layer in the first 3 sessions. I'm going to put them together. So there's the center of gravity, micro movements, coming into the breath and the free flow of the breath. And then we're going to work through the joints. And then next week is we get into the motion of the joints more and really get into the energetics of working the joints. And we'll do that mindfully. So next week, I'm going to put the first 3 sessions together and we're going to put it together mindfully. So what that means is you're in the what of it. You are doing this, it's what you're doing, but at the same time, you know how you're doing it while you're doing it. And that's the mindfulness. You know what you're doing and you know how you're doing it at the same time. Okay, and we'll also talk about the why. You'll know your why. So that's it next week. We'll layer mindfulness into the whole practice. For now, enjoy the rest of your relaxation. Let's see you again.